Are you looking for tickets? Head over to www.seatgiant.ca. That's seatgiant.ca for all your ticketing needs. Hockey tickets, basketball tickets, baseball, football, soccer, CFL, you name it, we got it. Head over to www.seatgiant.ca. Every single ticket is in Canadian funds. That's right, guys. Canadian owned, Canadian operated, and SeatGiant.ca is in Canadian dollars. Now, to save some even more money at checkout, make sure you use discount code FIREDUP. That's FIREDUP at checkout on SeatGiant.ca. Don't just buy a ticket, buy an experience. SeatGiant.ca.
Hey everybody, this is Joseph Hasek of barnburner.ca. Our twice daily Fired Up show is available on 108 platforms, also on the OSG Sports app, available on iOS and Android. Welcome to a special edition of the Ground and Pound MMA show with Giancarlo Albino and a special guest, Bellator's Jon Fitch, as he prepares for his battle with Canadian Rory McDonald. Now, John, let me ask you, we're based out of Canada. So basically, what you have to do to defeat Canada's, well, right now, best MMA competitor?
I just got to be me and put the pressure on, be tough, be strong, and get the job done.
All right, Giancarlo, go ahead.
Yeah, John, and you've really had a great last few years. You're 41 years old now and really done a great job in maintaining this high level of competitiveness in your fights and still able to dominate guys like Paul Daly and Jake Shields. What do you attribute that to? Is this something you changed in your training, or is it like a lifestyle change? What has led to this?
I've always been a hard worker, and I kind of stumbled a little bit because I just had personal issues. I had, money issues, the issues with UFC, mental problems because of all the crap going on, 2 young kids to take care of. And, those things kind of got in the way a little bit and took me off my course and took me off trajectory. But I've collected myself, refocused, and put myself back on track. I think, after 2013, whatever, after the loss to Rustamar Polaris, I think I pulled my head out of my ass and really started refocusing and getting myself on track and getting myself back to the routines and to the training and to the passion and obsession that I had with the sport. And I think that really is what kind of started making the change, and then being able to slowly start dealing with my personal issues and figuring and sorting things out. Because, fighting is so much mental. Like, you can have everything perfect physically. You can have a perfect technique, perfect everything. But if you don't have your head in the right place, you're going out there, fighting with your arms tied behind your back.
And, just to follow up on that, too, because as Joe mentioned, you're going to be fighting Rory McDonald, our Canadian guy. So, looking in this bracket, the winner of this will fight Neiman Gracie. And on the other bracket, they got Douglas Lima and MVP. Out of all the fights so far that you've been able to watch and take in, which competitor at welterweight has really impressed you the most?
I think Lima is a stud, man. Because he's got great stand-up, big power, good kicks, good punches, and he displayed some grappling ability in his last fight. So I think he's come a long way over the years, and I think he's looking really tough.
And you mentioned your passion and everything like that. From when you began in UFC and mixed martial arts to now, has anything changed, or have you upped the passion?
I started to have fun again. Right. When I started this, it was a lot of fun. It was an adventure. I was living a video game, living a martial arts movie, and then somewhere along the way, like, I hit a bump, and it became burdensome and confusing, and things just weren't working the way I thought they were supposed to, and I just wasn't having fun. And then I kind of refocused myself and set my eyes back on goals and setting those goals and looking for, ways to have fun and achieve what I needed to. And, a lot of things we cleared up with my personal life. Kids get a little bit older, they get a little bit easier to take care of. And, moving around the country, a couple times that was messing with me a little bit too, I think. So I think just being here in San Jose, refocusing, and then, focusing on having fun along the way, I think it's changed a lot.
Are you the most happiest you've ever been right now in your career?
Pretty much. I think, when I was young, when I was first starting out, that was a pretty happy time because the world was your oyster. I was doing something new. I was doing something different. And it was just a different time. But I think now it's pretty great. I get my kids. We get to play. I get to train. I have a lot of fun. So I don't know. They're both great, but they're both different. So it's hard to say which is better.
I always get this question. You've been fighting all over UFC, Bellator, and all other organizations. Is there something different upon every organization, or is it's fighting, you got to train, and you got to fight, and you got to do the job? Or is there, one organization that stressed you out the most, and another organization, like you said, you're having fun?
I mean, fighting is fighting, but there's also a business aspect to it. So, the money and those things, there's stress that comes into it. When I first started fighting, it was a lot of fun, there's a lot of adventure, but it's also stressful because shows would just get canceled a week out for no reason. Opponents would change out of nowhere for no reason. You might fight and then not get paid. So there was a lot of stress early on. And then getting into the UFC was super exciting. Everything was great. It was a lot of fun. But then the business started changing, and it started becoming not as fun. Like people, even the employees there, they started like walking on name shells because they didn't know if they were going to be fired, by the next show and be replaced with interns and losing sponsors and all that stuff. Like towards the end, before it got released with the UFC, like the backstage atmosphere changed. It was different. It wasn't as fun as it was before. And then, fighting with the World Series of Fighting with PFL, like people were great. The people worked hard. They were awesome. But at the same time, like the promotion wasn't quite there yet. They were still young and still trying to figure things out. So, I was a champ, but like nobody knew I was fighting. I'm like fighting or defending a world title, and people thought I was retired. So they hadn't quite figured out the promotion aspect of it. So that's frustrating too. So the fights were fun, the people we work with were fun, but we make money from being promoted and people knowing and being able to see us and watch us, and we get money from sponsors because people see and know that we're fighting. So then you switch and with Bellator, and they're doing a fantastic job with promotion. I'm getting a lot of feedback. People are knowing that I'm still fighting. I get a fight for a title. I get big name fights. So like that's a real added bonus. When you can get all the little aspects to work together and everything is lining up. Stars are kind of aligning for me. It's a great feeling.
One more question before Giancarlo jumps in. Now, if I told you could fight 5 times, 8 times a year, how many times for you would you like to fight in a year?
Well, I think that depends on your level of your career and your level of competition. When you're first starting out and you're fighting lower level guys who are on your level, because you're 0-0 or 1-2 or 1-1, like when you fight guys with similar records, like you can fight more often, right? Because there's going to be a little bit of skill difference and mismatches along the way. And it's okay to fight 8 times a year when you're at the beginning stages. But as you get up and you start getting into the championship rank and your notoriety builds, well, you need to preserve your body. So you want bigger fights for more money against big name guys. So like, if you're a champion, fighting 2 times a year is great, as long as the money's right. So like this tournament is a great opportunity to fight, probably 3 times in a year, or maybe, slightly more than a year, but I think it's going to be 3 times in a year, to win really good money. So it's a great opportunity right now. But it all kind of depends on who's fighting and what level of competition you're fighting, what type of fight it's going to be.
Giancarlo?
Yeah, and John, you've fought some of the biggest names in MMA, like GSP and BJ Penn, and the list goes on. And right now, like some guys, once they get to like 40, 41, they entertain different fights, move up a class, maybe move down. Do you have any aspirations of going up in middleweight? Because I know you fought at middleweight in the past. You were successful in your fight. Do you have any thoughts of going up?
I would like to win this tournament and then move up to challenge for the 85-pound title, and then that would probably be my last fight. If I could write the end of my career like a movie, that's what would happen.
All right, so Bellator 220 happens April 27th from San Jose, California, and Jon Fitch is in the main event against Canadian Roy McDonald. Now, also, just a final question. Take us away from MMA. Do you like any other sports?
I don't really watch many sports. I'm more of a doer. I'm not much of a spectator, but I am getting into hockey a little bit more. I used to work strength and conditioning with the strength and conditioning coach, Mike Tenza. I was lucky enough to go to one of the games recently. They're in the playoffs right now. They're down 3-1. Hopefully, they win their game. I think tonight against Las Vegas. So it's pretty cool to have a local sports team that everybody gets behind. I live downtown, so I know when there's a game because there's the wave of blue jerseys walking around. That's really cool. And then on Saturday, I'm going to go to one of the Quakes games. It's going to be my first soccer game I've been to, so that could be interesting.
So what hooked you on hockey?
It's fighting on ice is pretty cool.
You think you could take out anybody or what?
Those guys are monsters, dude. No way. I used to play pond hockey when I was young, and I was a decent skater. But I took my kids downtown to the downtown ice to go skating, and holy crap! Like it's not like riding a bike. It's not like riding a bike. You don't just always remember.
And final question: you think you could grow a beard like Joe Thornton?
Man, my beard is actually looking pretty good right now. Pretty decent. It's not too bad. I'll probably get it trimmed up a little bit because I don't want to give up chin control if somebody grabs my beard, but it's looking pretty good. Not too bad.
All right. Best of luck in the main event of Bellator 220, and that's Jon Fitch. And stay tuned for more of the Ground and Pound MMA show. Thank you, John.
Thank you.